Light Rail Studios presents Mime Talk. With Richard Now, Peter Rose, and Jackie. Tonight's guest, legendary audio engineer and record producer Betty Cantor-Jackson.
You have ridden on the fabled bus before?
Oh, the Prankster bus, that bus.
On
yes.
the bus,
Further.
on the further bus?
Back in the day when it was the original Further, yeah.
Was Cassidy driving?
He was driving, sort of. That was funny. He was sort of driving, yes. He was behind the wheel sometimes.
Enough.
Enough to keep it on the road going up Mount Tam, yeah, which was amazing to me. We all loaded up on Haight Street and took the drive to Marin County.
What place did you sit on the bus? Window seat, aisle seat?
Let's see, I think I was aisle, because I kept looking out in the aisle because Cassidy kept being in the aisle, talking to people. And we're going around these cars, I'm going, but who's driving the bus? You know, there's nobody at the wheel. He's in the aisle. Why is, whatever. We seem to be staying on the road. I guess it was well banked, kind of stayed on the bus, stayed on the road, but a lot of the things seemed like by itself,
Was it fair to say that LSD was also driving the bus that day?
Oh, absolutely.
You were Owsley's roommate for a while?
We shared a house in Oakland. Mm-hmm. Owsley and Bob Matthews and Ramrod, myself.
Does Owsley do his dishes?
No. Does he do his dishes? Oh, I don't remember him doing any dishes.
Do you think a chore wheel would have worked on Owsley, or would he have just been like, whatever?
A chore wheel? No, I might have. I mean, I had my restrictions for him. I told him he couldn't. There's certain things he couldn't do. That no, I'm sorry. You have to put up with other people's ways of doing things. You're living with other people. And he'd get all frustrated at me sometimes. But I said, nope. Sorry, you have to make allowances for others.
Where are some of the Betty's boundaries with
Owsley?
as far as
At that point, Ramrod was just getting together with Francis, his wife, for years and years after. She put things in the fridge, and he'd go, that can't be in my fridge, a vegetable, because he didn't eat those. He only ate meat, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, you're going to have to, there's only one fridge, you're going to have to put up with other people in this house, what they like.
Owsley
That's the way it is.
Was known to not dig vegetables, but he didn't dig them to the point where he didn't want them in the same fridge.
Yeah, you didn't want them safe. But that's also, they have that with Jewish things and stuff. You have to separate certain things. And
I got you.
I'm not sure what they are, and I'm supposed to know that stuff being a cantor, but you don't have to.
There'll be a test later.
I was a cantor on the father's side, not the mother's, so I'm not considered legally a Jew, I guess.
Oh, right? You're not legal. If your mother was Jewish, you would know different other Jewish, sacred things. Yeah, I understand.
But then
I have no idea.
When I was a kid, I went to every kind of church I could get to try to figure out who had the right idea, who had it right. I went to Baptist, Southern Baptist, which is really extreme kind of, evangelists, Mormons. I went to Catholic. I went to Jewish, like you said. I went to a bunch of them just to decide. And then I ended up going to a community church because I sang in the choir, and I like singing in the choir. And they were just sort of Protestant, general Protestant. They didn't have these specific ritual rules like the Baptist or the Mormons or the Catholic. They had a lot
The
more.
Protestants were the most loosey-goosey?
Just generally,
Do your own thing?
They were Christian. It was a Christian church, but it was pretty much just be kind kind of thing,
Wear
be a
the
nice
cross,
person kind
be
of
nice.
thing. Yeah, whatever,
Whatever. What other cool ladies were around that,
Well, I had my friend Dusty Street.
Dusty Street?
Dusty Street, who's now the DJ at, I guess, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I believe. She was the DJ out here. She wanted to be a recording engineer, I wanted to be a DJ, and we switched roles pretty much. Absolutely did. Grace was unusual.
Grace was unusual.
Well, she was unique.
Like
Grace
that.
Slick was
Grace was unusual.
And so was Janice. Janice was a trip, you know.
Uh-huh.
And when she got around Pigpen, it was fun. You know, she was fun around him. She'd just lay things on, and he'd get all embarrassed, and it was always fun when she came around.
Pigpen and Janice got along well.
Oh yeah, they got along great. Yeah.
It seems like they would. I like that. And then Pigpen was kind of shy.
In a way, and he was on that level, yeah. And when he got around her, she just he'd get red face for sure. But then they do the love light just down and dirty, but together at various times, which is really totally fun.
And Grace was unusual.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was a good songwriter and had a lot of very Scorpio.
Thank you.
You know.
I think you know what that means.
I always got along with Ray. She'd give a lot of, you know, groupies trouble because she just
she's a Scorpio.
You know, she's a Scorpio, yeah, but she never gave me any problem because she knew that wasn't what I was there for. I was a worker, so, you know, and she'd come on me and say, hey, what do you think about what I do? Grace, be nice. Be nice, be nice.
You were telling Grace to be nice. A favorite Grateful Dead song?
Oh, I don't know. I like Black Peter. I like, I like when they do Morning Dew. I like when they Violate Blues. It's deep.
What about One to Go Away? Maybe just...
One to Go Away?
Mm-hmm.
That I don't like, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Looks Like Rain. I call it Looks Like Pain.
Looks Like Pain.
I call it Looks Like Pain. But then, like, on the Cornell thing, I think Estimated Profit is the best thing on that. Mm-hmm. Best performance of a tune on that. Although Scarlet Begonias is beautiful, and Fire in the Mountain is great, and Jerry plays something that I think is so essential. And the last couple notes are just on a run that are just absolutely perfect. The absolute thing that needed to be played right then, right there. It was just, but so I went to work for the Navy right after my father died when I was 15, and I worked at the Naval Weapons Station.
In Concord?
In Concord. And I took over, I ended up by the time the summer was over.
You were how old?
15.
15, working at the Naval
Station.
Station.
They had special for kids that, you know, special programs for underprivileged or whatever the hell that was. And I went to work, and I ended up taking over all the supply orders that went through the supply department. And when I went to go back to school, they went, "What? You're leaving?" And I went, "Yeah." And they hired 2 people to take over all the stuff, and I was bored doing that. I was, you know, the other kids that were working, they'd go around and get a cup of coffee or do something, you know. They didn't, and I just got busy, you know, because I was there. Why not? So.
That's so exciting to me that you were at the Naval Station at 15
and I went
doing the supply.
They were showing us missiles and stuff, and at that point, I told them, "Oh, that's its range is about 1,600 miles, and it carries this, you know, this much payload and this pounds of thrust." And they're looking at me like, "What the hell?" And I went, "Well, my brother and I studied them.
You're paying attention.
We did it as a little private study at home. We used to do that for fun. That was what we did. We'd pick out a subject and study something. So, yeah, and they're still using the Saturn rockets, which were the big ones. They just stopped. They just went past the Saturns now. And I knew about them when I was 15. That's how long they've been around, those rockets.
What advice would you give your younger self, 17? You're leaving Martinez. $75 in your pocket?
I think be clear about, you know, representing myself, I guess. It's hard to, in a way, stand up for yourself as a female, being the first one doing what I did. I find myself getting resentful at this point in my life, getting resentful for the lack of being recognized as that then. It didn't matter then. That's never what, you know, that's never what I was going for. I just want to do the stuff. I want to purify the music, or I hear it a certain way, and I want it to be heard by others too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
and it's made me keep track of my tapes a little better.
Yeah.
Or get more representation when it comes to business matters or something like that, maybe. Although
it's tricky at the time.
It is, because it's hard to represent yourself and not be, I don't know. It's hard as a female in that position of being the first one doing it. You run up against a lot of male.
Loud, stupid men.
Well, opposition to, and not realizing that you have a clue, for one thing, or not allowing you to have a clue or something. Anyway, although there are those that recognize, and I never had, Jerry would always call me, for sure.
Jerry saw
Jerry
the light.
would always call me, if he wanted to do something, he'd call me.
You
And Chris
produced
called
his
me.
first
Hey.
his first record, Jerry?
Jerry's first record, yeah.
What was that like? How did
That was totally fun because that was just Bob Matthews, myself, Jerry, Robert Hunter, and Kreitzman playing drums, and then Ramrod to set up gear. And we just stayed in the back studio at Hyder's with the Anita Bryant session tagged on the door so nobody would come in and bother us.
You put Anita Bryant
Yeah, we
on
had
the
a sign on the door
door.
with Anita Bryant session so people would stay away.
Jerry's in this room.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, Anita Bryant's in there. So we just had the back studio there for a long time.
Anita sounds like
Yeah, right.
some really hip
And we made
stuff
up some
coming out
really
of there.
fun stuff. And we did the 4 songs, and then Hunter brought in all these tapes. The Spider God stuff is all Hunter's weird tapes that he put together.
Mm-hmm.
And then E-Power was a tune made up of Jerry would play a note on the piano. I would record a note and make a loop of each note and construct a 16-track tape of notes. And then he played it like an organ. So it had that warbly thing going, and because the loops weren't exactly perfect, but they ended up with 16-note organ, and he played it for E-Power. So that's what the weird sound on E-Power is. It is an organ. So it gave it a very interesting sound. I liked it.
Have you ever been involved in a merry prank?
Yes. Okay, it was a merry prank. It wasn't a prankster prank. It was our producer on Go to Heaven pulled a prank on Ware and called an ambulance, and they came in and took him away from the studio. We were recording Go to Heaven, and they just came in with him, wheeled in, and slapped him and took him out, took him off. That was a prank. Yes, it was a little unusual. He went with it. They got in the ambulance. What can I say?
Put this on your tongue. Get in the car.
Yeah, right. Well, I did that to him at the. I did Dose Wear one time at the Avalon with Jimi Hendrix when he came by.
Jimmy came by the Avalon?
He came by to play with the Dead, and it's been Mitch and what's the other guy's name? Anyway, the 3 of them, and they came by, and
Jimmy, Mitch, and the third of the Experience.
Or the bass player,
Granny
whatever.
Goose.
Yeah, right. Yes, they came by. They were going to jam with the Dead. They took some of their LSD, and they became
Whose LSD were they taking?
Owsley's.
Owsley. They got some of
White
the
Lightning.
Owsley.
Yeah, and when we called them Bear later, Owsley put a couple of White Lightning tabs on me, told me to go kiss Weir, give him a big wet one.
Nice.
Which I did.
Nice.
And Weir got high, and I got really high. Yeah, so Bobby got it, because he was a little, I don't want to get high, he always careful of what he drank on stage and stuff.
Who was careful?
Bobby.
Bobby was
Bobby
careful.
He didn't want to do acid, so
I don't want to blow my mind.
so he got dosed, Yeah, Bear wanted to have some.
Looks like you're gonna need more.
Yeah, so that whole set, Jimmy and the band, they couldn't go on, so we sat, me and Jimmy and his 2 guys, we sat in the dressing room and watched the walls swim because we were all really high on LSD. But later he did play out at the Ark, which I read somewhere. He never did get to play. He actually did play at the Ark.
Jimmy played at the Ark.
Yeah, they went out to jam afterwards at the Ark and played a little bit out there. Everybody was very high.
Jimmy was probably comfortable playing high.
Oh, I think so. He could play. The man could play.
You were at the Monterey Pop Festival?
Oh, yeah. The first one, 1967.
Was that any fun?
Oh, that was totally fun. I got to work the stage as I had the intercom between the stage and the PA booth. I worked with McCune Sound Service, and they were the PA. So I got to be the person on stage with a intercom on and a headphone on, talking to the sound booth if they needed something. It was fun.
And did you see Ravi?
Oh, yep. That's the one place in the movie that you can see me in the movie because I went out front to watch Ravi Shankar. I had to go out front and hear.
Didn't he smash his sitar and burn it?
No. No, he didn't. Not that I saw.
That was the Who. The Who. And
that would have been the Who.
The
yeah,
Who.
Right.
My bad. My bad.
Oh, yeah, right.
Do you mind if I smoke?
No. Yeah, your kind of smoke is smoke my kind of smoke. Never mind. He rolls his own. Be really good at that, you know. I started to. You need some smoke machines.
You can just.
I can give you the smoke machine part. Oh, thanks. Wait a minute. I got my pocket here. I can bring out my vape and smoke.
Oh, I can mime a vape pen too.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. I have a cough. I just. Oh, here. It's making me cough. You better take that.
This desk is a little loose. All right, don't watch this
Here
at
comes
home.
the smoke. There comes the smoke. There it is.
I'm just going to put this
Oh, that's
out.
a nice smell.
That never happened.
I smell that.
That never happened. That never
See, mine
happened.
doesn't smell. I don't have anyway.
You ever touch a Hell's Angel?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Are they soft? Are they prickly?
No, they're generally a little bit on the firm side, the Hells Angels. But I've never had a problem with Hells Angels. They've been there and been supportive in a lot of ways. Although at Altamont it was a little strange, but the trouble with that really wasn't with the Angels as much as with the prospects that got real drunk and wanted to be tough, you know. And my friend at Hell's Angel, Terry the Tramp, was there, and he was just up on the hill high, and he didn't have anything to do with all that weird stuff going on. And I ended up having to have a Hell's Angel be sort of my bodyguard on stage, just because I had to get them to bring the monitors back up. The monitors got sucked into the crowd, and I had said, guys, can you get those back up here? Just put them on the edge of the stage, you know, because the band can't hear themselves, you know, unless they
We
have
need
monitors.
those.
So they did. They got them back up on the stage for me, and then they just made sure I could get through the crowd if I had to get to something. I remember Charlie Watts thinking I was coming at him, but I was just coming to put the microphone back on the drum set that fell over, you know.
I come in
He
peace,
realized that
Charlie.
after, as soon as I put it back up and then went away, you'd be like, oh, all right, she's not a problem.
You knew Terry the Tramp.
Yes.
Oh, far out. Was in Waylon Jennings said something about making hillbillies out of the Hells Angels
That he
or
did.
something.
I
to
have
that
a tape
effect?
of him playing at the boarding house. And he's just going off, just like that. We made hillbillies out of the Hells Angels. I love that line. It's a great line.
Thank you, Waylon.
Yeah. I also went to Folsom Prison with Waylon, which I don't have that tape anymore. And then to the Sacramento Memorial Auditorium afterwards.
What was it like to go to Folsom Prison with Waylon
Yeah,
Jennings?
you saying Folsom Prison Blues is funny. It was interesting. Folsom Prison, I've been with groups to with performances in a lot of different prisons in California, San Quentin and Terminal
What's your
Island,
favorite prison to play?
Favorite prison to play? I don't think there is a favorite prison to play.
It was a trick question.
Yeah,
that was a trick question.
You know, these are not the favorite places. Oh, you didn't go.
That was a trick question.
That was a trick question.
You did amazing.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I'm trying to pass my own acid test.
But the Lompoc, that's the easiest one to get in and out of. That's the country club of prisons, Lompoc. That's where I smuggled a lot of tapes into Lompoc for Owsley. All of Europe 72, I smuggled in my cassettes of my monitor mixes.
So you went and visited Owsley when he was
yeah, we also played at
in
Terminal Island when he
prison.
was there.
Or
and
in
we
jail,
had,
I'm not quite sure.
And Hot Tuna played too. went with them.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the Terminal Island was oppressive. Folsom was really oppressive. It was really cool because it looks like a castle on the outside, but it had the most ominous vibe to it. But Charlie Manson was there when I was there too.
Charlie was there.
They had all the heaviest ones in Folsom when we were.
Charlie adds a particular aura. What's the meanest thing a cat has ever done to you?
A cat?
Uh-huh.
Pussy cat.
Uh-huh. Pussy meow meow.
I love my cats. I always had cats with 5 toes.
You knew a cat with 5 toes?
7 toes, that's what I'm saying. Actually,
7-toe cat.
And 2. Yeah, I went in Oakland where I lived with Owsley and Ramrod and stuff. We had, it was left there by the Indian musicians that had the place before us.
Mm-hmm.
The Ali Akbar Khan School had been there, and we took it over from them.
It came with the cat.
Then he had 7 toes on each of his feet, and he used to grab things. He'd grab them like, he could open this door, he'd reach up, grab that handle of the doorknob, open it, throw it open,
What's
and then
the
go
cat's
through.
name?
That was Rusty.
Rusty.
That was Rusty Cat, yeah.
You knew Ken Kesey, and he stole your I Ching?
My I Ching, yeah.
Is that true?
It's true. Oh,
Kesey.
Tales of Kesey. Slightly underage girl he's trying to impress, I think. So he borrowed my I Ching.
He borrowed it.
He borrowed it to take downstairs to go through the I Ching with this young lady, and took off in the morning with my I Ching. I was the only buck I had at that point. I was a little annoyed with him.
Kesey, you borrowed the book to hit on another person. You misused the I Ching. I don't know if that's a misuse, but you definitely borrowed it in an acidy way, which is taking it. And we'd like you to return that book. So
it might be a little late for that.
Get your shit together. Return Betty's book. Return her I Ching.
Return from the grave.
Kesey.
Bring it back.
Thank you. Bring it back. What do you mean from the grave?
Ken Kesey?
Those people, he's beyond. Wouldn't Ken say something appropriate that I can't think of right now?
Oh, probably. I've always done everything by ear. I wanted to play the piano, but then I didn't have a piano as a kid, and they didn't teach piano in school. But my friend had a piano at home, so I'd go over to her house, and tunes that I liked, I'd find them on the piano, and I'd just play them note for note. I find the note. That's the note. I know that, and I do that.
That's a beautiful gift to be able to go.
I do everything by ear. You know, I'll find. I can hear a sound, and I'll find it. I did it with Grant one time. He was playing something. He made up a new song, and he was playing something, and I was in the other room, and I heard it, and I'm going, wait a minute, that note, that's wrong. You can't do that note right there. And so I went to a box of tuning forks and just kept hitting them until I found the note that he played. Because I didn't have a keyboard in there, I found the note. And then when he came in the back, I said, you play this this note here, and you really shouldn't, because it just sounds, I know it's not wrong musically, but it sounds wrong. And it's going to sound wrong to the listener. And he's going, no, I never played that. I went, yeah, and he did it twice. And he's like, no, I didn't. He goes out and he plays it, and he comes back. He says, you're right, I did play that. You did play it. I said, yeah, and you really should alter that a little bit, because it sounds like you went to a bad change. It sounds like it's in the wrong tuning or something. I don't know enough about it to know. I only know what I hear. That I can always follow.
Do you get chicken skin when you hear something that sounds good?
I could, yeah. That's the other thing that our psychedelics will make my hair stand, like I said, it makes my hair grow, makes it stand on it.
When you do acid, if you ever did acid, your hair gets frizzy, it stands on it.
Yeah, it curls right up.
I might have to try that. That could be a good TikTok experiment.
Does your hair curl?
For the kids.
Does your hair curl?
For the children. Not all of you people know this, but you deadheads will know what I'm talking about. The Wall.
Yeah.
What did you think of that creation?
It was unusual. It was dramatic. It was
unusual,
impressive.
like Grace Slick.
Well, no, different. It was, designed by these various, our various members, as it were, and it was an experiment. Once again, another experiment. We did a lot of experimenting with what we could do to make sound better, and that's one thing. You can go to shows these days, and you can go out into those audiences, and it sounds like crap, but it never sounded like crap at a Grateful Dead show. Not if we were running this stuff. I mean,
that.
It just didn't sound like it. Sounded good. You could hear it. It was clean. It was clear. You could hear the music.
Did you ever engineer with Owsley? Did you guys work together?
We did some at the Carousel. I would help him set up when we had the Carousel Ballroom. The Dead had it.
And the Carousel became
Fillmore West.
The Fillmore West.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the Carousel.
Yeah, it was the Carousel before, and then Graham liked our venue, so he hustled the Irish guys that owned it or whatever, and got the lease away from us.
Graham hustled again.
Yeah, he hustled. He's good at that. He managed to work a deal with him. He was, wheeling and dealing. So he got the place away from us. He probably offered him obviously some kind of better deal. So.
And then that became
Fillmore West. The
Fillmore, and you played with Owsley. You were engineering at the Carousel.
Yeah. I helped him set up the stage and stuff, and he and Matthews would run the PA system most of the time. Yeah, just for that short period of time. Yeah.
And you learned from watching the Owls.
Well, mostly watching those guys. Yeah, watching Owsley, watching Matthews, watching Healy, watching and listening, watching what they touch and see what changes when they move it. Mm-hmm. Listening to what changes, and understanding what that does, and that's how I really learned how various things worked, was by listening.
You're with the Chris Robinson. Are you guys in a bus doing some touring?
Did went out for a few different areas to do different parts of the country. So I go out for a few shows.
What's it like to be on a bus?
Oh, it's fun. Those are great guys, and very respectful and fun, and just just hang out and have a good time. It's really quite mellow and quite.
Does the bus driver get up out of the bus seat?
No, he doesn't. No, those bus drivers don't do like Cassidy did, and like Neil Cassidy did. Yeah. As soon as I got done having my kid, I smoked a joint. I was like, oh, give me a joint. Now I could have a joint.
Back then, you could do that.
Well, no, you couldn't. I stuck in the bathroom and smoked a joint, because I'd been working at this thing for a while. Quite a few hours now, about 10 hours now I've been working at this thing. And
that's enough to earn you a joint.
Yeah, I thought so. And so when he got there, I looked at him and my husband, and I said, oh crap, you got jet lag. So I said, here, you hold the baby, I'll drive. So I drove, because it was Jack's car. Jack would rather I was driving it anyway than Rex. So I drove myself home from the hospital, me and my kid and my husband.
What's your kid's name?
Cole.
Cole.
They asked me that before I had him. I knew what his name was because when I was 7 months pregnant, I woke up in the middle of the night and beyond lights was written Cole. That's all I saw. It was just Cole. I went, okay, that must be his name, and I went back to sleep, He said I knew at 4 months it was a boy. I just knew it was a boy.
You saw the neon lights.
I saw neon lights that it was written in cursive. It said C-O-L-E.
That's funny, because I was going to ask you, was it serif or sans serif? It's cursive.
It looked like neon tubing in rainbow colors, It's weird. So I don't know if I was awake or asleep. I don't know if I was dreaming or if I saw my eyes and it was all black and that was all there was. And I just, okay, must be his name. So I went back to sleep. I figured he named himself.
And I've heard that.
When I was having him, they came up and they said, okay, so what's the baby? They're filling out the birth certificate. What's the baby's name? And I went, excuse me. He's going to be a boy and his name's going to be Cole, but do you mind if I just make sure before we write that down? Could I just verify that by having him? And the doctor looked at her and threw her out of the room. So what the hell? You asked me. I didn't have an ultrasound and tell him what the sex was and then decide what the name was. He named himself. I'm going to make sure he's...
You had insider information.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But then for Kurt Vonnegut's my actual favorite author.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What book?
I like Douglas Adams too, but Kurt Vonnegut, as far as my favorite, it was I've got to see Mr. Rosewater. Although Sirens the Titan, when I read it, I told Jerry that's the best movie I ever read. And then he bought the movie rights. He had those for a long time, but then he never did. And Tom, let's see, tried to write. He's writing a screenplay for it. He read some of it to me. And so it's all about, the time thing. Getting that whole time thing in line.
You love books.
Yeah, I do.
Keezy, if you're out there, give us back that I Ching. No questions. No questions. Just return the I Ching
I'm always praying for this.
to Light Rail Studios. You've had plenty of time to read it.
All these senior moments, I can't remember, Dave.
He's gonna say that too when he brings it back. He's gonna say, "Oh, I had this in my car. It was a senior moment." Jackie's just trying to set a tone, some sort of relaxing tone. She's
really
emanating oxy
So my kid says, "Don't go off." Oh, I don't know what you asked me.
Don't go off. What kind of?
Oh, wait, no.
What would have been a stupid question?
I didn't ask, some kind of thing about being
I didn't write any
female. Yeah, I get asked those. So what do you think about being a female? Something. I don't think of myself as a female. Something. I think of myself as a recording engineer, record producer that happens to be. Thank you very much. I hate when you have to qualify it as a woman doing that. It's like. Why? You don't qualify.
What's it feel like to be
a
human?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I got confronted with that. You always relate as a person. You relate to us as a person. And I'm like, yeah, kinda. I said, well, every once in a while, remember you're a chick. It pisses us off. What?
Was this another human that confronted you?
Yes, that was one of my coworkers that said that to me one time. I was like, we remember you're a chick, being the only chick on the crew, It's like, oh, you remembered that, did you?
It was the first thing on my damn mind.
Yeah, I really came out here thinking that, It's not.
What's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you when you're on acid?
Notable one, when I was in the truck recording Europe 72 at the Lyceum. I think it was the last night at the Lyceum. And these guys got thrown out. And I thought it was just Jim in there with me. But anyway, some guys got thrown out of the venue because they were acting up or something. And so they found the truck in the back alley, and they started beating on it, rocking it. I was inside, and I was inside this metal box, and it sounded, and they're rocking it, and it's going bang, bang, bang. And I was like, holy crap. And they got on the intercom and said, help, I'm being accosted. Something going on. I didn't want to open the back door. There's something going on out there, My truck's being beat on and it's being rocked and all that stuff. So my soon-to-be, or later-to-be husband came out and got all 5 guys out of the alley.
Do you think he set this up so he could rescue?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. He just came to my rescue. Lifted the theater fire door right off its rollers and came out there and cleaned up the alley with all 5 guys. That's what I was told. I was like,
I like that.
That was Buddy Cage's story. He said he just went out there and cleaned up that alley. All 5 guys just took them out. He just lifted that fire door right off its rollers. He was mad. He was messing with me.
And then
we weren't together at that point, but
that's good groundwork
at that point. Yeah, we'd been meant to be together for a long time. That point, actually. You still have more questions? How long does this go? How long does this go on?
I think that's how the show ends.
Huh? Oh, okay. Bye.
I'd like to thank you so very much.
Oh, you're so very welcome.
For coming out here and joining Jackie and Peter Rose and myself. They're throwing pennies at me.
treats, dog treats, hey!
And for those of you that wanted to see more mime, you can just rewind the show and turn off the volume.
Yeah, right, you can be miming the whole time. Oh, there he is.
Special guest, Betty Cantor-Jackson.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
Got all your mime stuff right there.